This hour by Frederick Remington, fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. Exclusive, no refrigeration, 10-year extended shelf life bacon. The thickest, meatiest, center-cut bacon in the industry at fullycookedbacon.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is Saturday, the 9th of June, and we welcome you to Wall Street Raw. And as we always try to do, we try to line up an interesting group of guests for you on the program. This week we hope to have our good friend Henry Weingarten joining us, along with Don VIALOUX, Harry Boxer, and Sinclair No from Eat the Bankers. It's been a somewhat predictable week. We've been bullish on the markets, market climbing that old wall of worry, and that wasn't too difficult when you saw the Russell 2000 move into new highs, and now NASDAQ into new highs. So the S&P and Dow are following, but we are sort of battling that seasonal tendency for some type of sell may go away phenomenon. So at some point this summer into the fall, there probably will be some shakeout. Maybe this is a part and parcel to a quote-unquote summer rally, but in any event, it's something that we are benefiting from here, at least short term, and we'll see how far this goes. Maybe we'll peak out, make new highs in the Dow and S&P. That'll be the bull trap, so to speak, following the smaller stocks like the Russell, and then we pull back a little bit. But no reason to be bearish yet, and so certainly when we get some clear signs of that, and of course some of our guests will provide some insights along those lines as well. For those of you not familiar with me, hopefully you are, but I do publish vrtrader.com, which incorporates a bunch of newsletters. Overall Market Timing, Market Timer Digest has me, I think, in the second or third position nationally now in terms of general market timing for the year, which is pretty good since there's several hundred people that are being tracked. And you may recall, if you've been around a while, that I used to be a quote-unquote elf on that old Louis Rukeyser Wall Street Week television program, which launched back in 1972. I didn't join it until the late 1980s. In any event, I was with Paul Kangas for 30 years on the Nightly Business Report as a market monitor guest. Might have seen me there for a while. Paul unfortunately passed away a few years ago. But these were the legends of our business, the Louis Rukeysers and the Paul Kangases, who really set the precedent from the 1970s forward. Of course, there was Ed Hart, who I use at the close of my show for my closing quote, "We will know in the fullness of time." He was on the old Financial News Network back then in the 1970s out at the FNN studios in Ocean Park Boulevard in Los Angeles. And as you probably recall, they were acquired by CNBC, but they were also at the forefront and bringing you good financial news. In terms of news and so forth, I try to read this quote periodically from Cicero in 55 BC, so relevant. And let me read this to you here before we get started with the show here in a meaningful way. He wrote back then, "The budget should be balanced, the treasury should be refilled, public debt should be reduced, the arrogance of officialdom should be tempered and controlled, and the assistance to foreign lands should be curtailed, lest Rome become bankrupt. People must again learn to work instead of living on public assistance." 2073 years ago. Do you believe it's the same problems today? Socialism, of course, always is a failure no matter where. And we can provide you a lot of examples here. I have a bunch in front of me here, but I guess most current example is Venezuela, what's going on. And we have a Democratic Party in this country, and we have the European group as well. You know, socialism seems to be the answer, but it is a failure, always a failure. And the big problem we're having in Europe right now, among other things, is a pension crisis, and which will probably spill over here to the U.S. And we're looking at the same story painted here and there. Low interest rates for nearly 10 years have destroyed the bond markets, and basically both publicly and privately, and it's difficult for pensions to meet their obligations. And as I mentioned on the show before, I think that's part and parcel to the reason why the Fed's raising rates, and we may see an upward acceleration in rates here in the next couple of years, much more dramatically than most are predicting, because of the need to get interest rates to decent levels to save the pensions of this country, because if they go under and we have to bail all them out, then we're really going to be looking at a financial crisis. Meanwhile, I hope to have Henry on the line. Is Henry Weingarten available? No luck with Henry. Okay. I just told my producer, said Henry's not on the line, so we're going to try to reach him, and if we don't reach him, we'll have to wait until next week. But Henry Weingarten produces afund.com, which is a great blog and something we need to all be talking about. Meanwhile, one of the things I haven't been talking about, as you probably know, is the burgeoning cannabis industry. And I do produce the Cannabis Vice Letter. In fact, I'm headed off to Los Angeles for a cannabis conference this week, and had been one in L.A. just a couple of weeks ago. And one of the reasons for that is because of the tremendous opportunity in the shares, which we've done very, very well with in our Cannabis Vice newsletter here the last 4 years since we've launched the letter. Meanwhile, you know, big pharma is trying to create synthetic pills from what really is out there, and that's a whole other discussion. But in the meanwhile, we have strong American support for marijuana, and I'm more in it on the medical side. I'm not such a proponent of the recreational, though that is going through in Canada, and obviously it has gone through in states like Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, and so forth. I think there's a risk here of quote-unquote dumbing down America if everybody, you know, too many people are smoking pot, which, by the way, is hurting some of the alcohol companies. Beer industry seems to be suffering in Colorado as consumers are electing for the weed instead of the beer, but those companies may be getting into the business from what I hear, so they may try to turn themselves around. But backing up to the difference between the two, yes, recreational, you know, we can't stop people from drinking and we can't stop people from smoking, but I think the real benefit of the whole cannabis opportunity is in the medical area. There's been so many people that are benefiting from that, and you know, close to home, I have relatives, you know, who suffer from the opioid crisis, and innocently started, you know, get hurt in an accident, or a doctor prescribes something. Next thing you know, they're hooked on opioids, and some even turn into more serious drugs. And I think it was Pennsylvania this past week came out with some legislation that said that they've approved using marijuana as a method to get patients off opioids by heavy doses of marijuana. Seems to be working, so that may spread, and obviously that's a big plus for marijuana on the medical side, which, you know, I've just referred to. So that, among many things, neurological benefits. GW Pharmaceutical, which is a big name out there, GWPH, has been waiting for FDA approval on their neurological drugs. I think one of it's called Epidiolex, and they had Sativex as one that had been out in Europe prior to this point. And so that's for those that need the help. And meanwhile, there is CBD out there, which I'm sure many of you have heard of, which is derived from the hemp plant. That seems to be helping a lot of people and calming people down for pain. Many veterans have been using the CBD, which doesn't have the THC psychotropic component, but still has great benefit. But, you know, this is Wall Street Raw, and, you know, we're looking to make a buck too, as well as help people if we can, and tremendous opportunity out there in those shares. So I would encourage you to sign up for my Cannabis Vice newsletter, because we do cover those stocks, opportunities both here and in the U.S. Meanwhile, I don't want you to touch your dial. Hopefully we will get Henry on the line, but if not, we've got Don VIALOUX, and we've got SINCLAIR and Harry Box are waiting for you here on this Saturday, June 9th edition of Wall Street Raw.
You're You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Heart-related health problems affect millions of people each year. Maybe you're one of the many who suffer from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, unbalanced cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or clogged arteries. There is a solution that doesn't involve expensive prescription drugs that only mask the problem and leave you with horrible side effects. If you are ready to live your life free of sickness, pain, and fear, live your life with increased vitality, energy, and youthfulness, and experience your body healing itself, then you're ready for Heart and Body Extract from Healthy Hearts Club. Here is what one satisfied customer had to say about Heart and Body Extract regarding his angina pain.
I haven't had an angina pain since I've been on it. The Heart Body Extract is just so great. I thank God that I was led to this product that's doing so much for me, and that can do so much for other people.
Call to order your 2-month supply of Heart and Body Extract today. Call 1-866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
Healthcare reform is confusing, but whether it's finding an affordable insurance plan, keeping your doctor, or being able to afford needed prescriptions, navigating the healthcare system has become a challenge. Control your own healthcare costs and choices with Liberty HealthShare. Liberty HealthShare is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of each other's medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at readytoeatbacon.com. readytoeatbacon.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry MyPillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, June 9th. Appreciate you tuning in, and I know you have other choices on a Saturday morning, but we certainly appreciate you checking in on us. A lot of other financial shows run on the weekend as well, but we are picking up a pretty strong following. And one of the reasons for that is our good friend Don VIALOUX from EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca promotes our show up in Canada, and he's our great Canadian guest. Good morning, Don. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me back, Mark.
Oh, we have so much to talk about in the markets this past week. So let's start off with what we were talking about off air. Gold and gold stocks seem to be lining up for interesting seasonal pattern this summer.
Very interesting. Lots of technical and fundamental and seasonal reasons for believing that it's going to work very nicely this year. Typically, gold and gold stocks reach an important low right around about the third week in July, and then move higher right through until the beginning of October. Now, on occasion, you can see these seasonal trends moving a little bit sooner than usual, and that could be the case this year. We're already starting to see some pretty good technical action in individual stocks, stocks like Goldcorp and Agnico Eagle and Wheaton Precious Metals, just broken out during the last week or so. So it's a little bit early for the seasonal trade, but it is starting to get lined up.
Yeah, we generally like to look at the shares to see if they provide that leadership. So that's good to hear that we're getting a couple starting to move here. But we, as you say, we are a little early.
Yeah, a word of caution. There's a reason why it probably will not happen in the very short term, and that has a lot to do with interest rates. Next week, we're going to see the Federal Reserve increase the Fed fund rate by another 25 basis points. And you've seen last week interest rates starting to go higher in the U.S. Obviously, bond prices have been under pressure. Utility stocks have been under pressure for that reason as well. But once you get past June the 13th, which is when the Fed is expected to increase the Fed fund rate, that's when you're going to start to see changes in a lot of trends in a lot of markets. Notably, the U.S. dollar, which is starting to show signs of, after a 7% move in the last couple of months, is starting to roll over. And typically, gold and gold stocks move higher when the U.S. dollar starts to move lower.
Is there a seasonal tendency for a weak dollar starting this summer?
Yeah, it turns out there is. Historically, the U.S. dollar has weakened right around the end of June and moves lower right through until about the beginning of October of each year. So that fits into the seasonality of gold and gold stocks as well.
You say in your commentary that gold in U.S. dollars is forming a 5-year base pattern, and a move above the 1377 which is that high, I think, from, was it June of 2016? That's what we need to really get this puppy moving, huh?
Yes, boy, if it moved above that 1377 level, that would cause the bulls to come out big time. That's a very important technical level. That would complete this huge longer-term reverse head and shoulders pattern and implies much higher prices for gold, probably closer to the $1,500 level. But let's not count our chickens yet. We're not there yet. We are getting lined up. Something else is starting to look kind of interesting. One of the things that you look for for the seasonal trade in gold is what gold stocks are doing relative to the price of gold. And what you want to see is the price of gold stocks moving faster or higher than the price of gold. And we've started to see that. Since about the middle of February, that's been the scenario. Gold stocks have nicely outperformed the price of gold, and therefore looks more and more like the seasonal trade this year is going to work once again.
So they're really responding to political, economic uncertainties and inflation. And we do have some signs of inflation now, finally. And we also have the risk of, the imposed tariffs and the NAFTA agreement have a bearing on this as well, don't they?
Yes, historically, particularly midterm election years, political uncertainty related to a lot of things. Could be tariffs, what we've seen last week. It could be just the concerns of what's going to happen with the U.S. election coming up in November. The negotiations with North Korea. What's happening over in Iran is lots of things which are kind of on the front burner this summer, which is expected to increase volatility in equity markets in North America. And when you see increased volatility in equity markets, that normally leads to higher gold and gold stock prices.
I know you've written in previous years, and correct me if I'm wrong, generally around this June, July period, that there's some type of negative event, like we had the Greek debacle in recent years and others you've cited. So we're in that time frame that something big could hit that would surprise the markets, right?
That's particularly true in Canadian markets. Good example, during the last 20 years, the TSE composites from beginning of June right through until middle of October has gone down about 3.5%. But you're looking at the data a little bit closer, and you'll see that the market during that time actually went up 13 of those last 20 periods, but only went down 7 of the last 20 periods. But when it went down big time. It went on 5 of those 7 occasions when the TSE composite moved lower. The TSE composite dropped by more than 12%. Those same events that caused the weakness in the Canadian market, those 5 events during the last 20 years, also can be tied very closely to what has happened in the U.S. equity markets, where it also went down in 5 of those 20 periods. So we're now entering a period of uncertainty and greater volatility for equity markets in general. Again, very positive scenario for gold and gold stocks.
Well, sell may go away, or sell when the snow goes. Is that the expression?
Yeah, I developed the expression, buy when it snows, sell when it goes. So you buy normally around October, and right around the end of April, then you sell. And that's particularly relevant to Canada.
Right, a little more so, a little further north, and for most of the U.S. that's probably relevant. I'm down in Arizona, but we have snow up in the mountains, so we see the same pattern. It just depends where you are in the States, sure.
Sure.
So we have the midterm election seasonality pattern, and we have only about 60 seconds here. You compare both of those compared to the normal pattern. Is one a little more bearish than the other?
Yeah, historically, this is the period when we have the problems with volatility in equity markets. There's something else that's come up this year which is relevant. We've got NAFTA negotiations going on, and it looks more and more like NAFTA negotiations are on the back burner after what happened last week. It looks like President Trump doesn't look like there's a chance of doing a deal with Mexico and Canada, and therefore NAFTA probably is going to be delayed at least until this fall, at least until after the Mexican election, which is coming up in July the 1st. It looks more like you're going to have individual negotiations as opposed to NAFTA negotiations going forward.
Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-261-9818 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-261-9818. Again, 800-261-9818.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the Internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
This is Elizabeth McCabe, a.k.a. Lucky One of Truth Frequency News. I wanted to tell you all about Extendivite from HeartDrop.com. Y'all know I check everything before I air it. When I heard about Extendivite on TFR, I went to HeartDrop.com and started my research. It's got cayenne. That's good for blood and circulation. It stimulates the blood flow. It's got garlic, which fights bacteria like antibiotics, and it lowers the cholesterol and blood pressure. It also has milk thistle, which is the best detox for liver. I couldn't wait to try it out, and I'm glad I did 4 months ago. And here's the obvious results. My hands and feet don't get cold anymore. The varicose veins have faded too. My wrists don't hurt after typing all day. Now I tell you all this because it's true and I want you to really live life. Try Extendivite. Go to HeartDrop.com and order it.
Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid. Call now. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit HeartDrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetradio.com.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. It's Saturday, June 9th, and I have my very special guest, Harry Boxer, with us from the TechTrader.com. We're recording the show a day or two early here, actually 2 days early since we're traveling, so we're going to try to cover as much as we can from this perspective, but I don't think the trend comments are going to change. Good morning, Harry. Thank you for squeezing us in.
My pleasure. You're always good for a squeeze.
I can always count on you for that. As a reminder to our listeners, besides being a great comedy piece, the TechTrader.com is also a great place to learn about stocks that are active during the day. And off air, Harry and I have been talking about the marijuana cannabis stocks, which we've been talking about quite a bit on this program for many months since they had such big moves. And we don't only talk about cannabis stocks, but they've been the big mover. And there was an election plan Thursday. We're taping Thursday in Canada, but I'm pretty sure they're going to approve the Senate in Canada was going to approve the recreational marijuana, and that's probably one of the reasons the stocks moved up here in the last few days. Harry, how do they look to you now?
Well, I think it's still the news, and that's what happened this morning. A lot of them popped pre-market and then pulled right back, but they're coming on again. They're bouncing again. I'm a little disappointed in the big one, that's Canopy Growth, BGC. And here's my theory. It got listed on the New York Stock Exchange. It's no longer as manipulable as they can manipulate somebody's marijuana stocks like Can and Clone and ACBFF and MEDFF, the release. These stocks seem to be, they get squeezed by the market makers on NASDAQ sometimes, but when you're on the New York Stock Exchange, it's not as easy. And I'm just wondering whether that's the case. This has been listed. It hasn't acted great. So that's a little surprising to me. But I still like the stock long-term. Long-term chart, and as long as it holds support, and once it gets out above 32.5, I think it could rip. I'm looking for 45.50 in the next 2 weeks.
Well, the couple of things, as you know, and you know this, it's the biggest company in the Canadian market, but they're also worldwide. And in addition, Constellation Brands, STZ, has a significant investment position in them. So my theory has been correct or incorrect, that at some point Constellation may want to take over the whole company. They're a much bigger company than Canopy, as you know. There was a $220 stock and worldwide liquor company. So that might be the ultimate push for something like this.
Yeah, exactly.
So the market's into new highs, Harry. Russell 2000 led the way. We climbed a wall of worry. Everybody was worried about a big correction. And how do you read the markets here?
I'm a bit worried today. I don't like what I'm seeing in NASDAQ. NASDAQ's hitting the market low. It's under pressure right now. It's down. The NASDAQ 100 is down 64 points today, almost 1%. And with the advanced declines on NASDAQ are 16 to 12 negative, and up-down volume is 6 to 5 negative. Even on New York, it's still positive, but there's narrowing there too. So I'm worried that NASDAQ drags everything down today and that we have a ugly finish. The market's overdue for a pullback. There's also some cycle highs. One of my real best cycle analysts that I follow was calling for a top today, believe it or not, today on Thursday morning. So we'll see, but right now it's not a pretty picture. The S&P is actually holding up better than NASDAQ today. It's only off a couple points, and the Dow's still up 117. This goes to show you why I follow the Dow. 30 stocks, I never could get why. I know it's a tradition, but with 500 stocks in the S&P and 100 stocks in the NASDAQ 100, which basically are industry leaders in tech stocks, that's what leads the market, not the Dow 30 in industrials. So that's what I follow, and I ignore the Dow pretty much.
And we have a Fed meeting next week, too, and the consensus view is that they're going to raise rates. Whether that has some impact here or not, we'll find out as we approach the 13th of the month. Harry Boxer from the TechTrader.com. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll talk to you this time next week.
Okay, keep an eye out on COOL, polarity. Love that chart. All right?
Okay, absolutely will. COOL. Take care. Thank you, Harry. Joining us now is my good friend and regular guest, Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 Phoenix, and author of the incomparable blog, EatTheBankers.com. Thank you, Sinclair, for joining us on this Saturday morning, June 9th.
Thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure.
Well, we have a lot of interesting stories, but as we always do, we like to hear from the Eat the Bankers segment.
It's time for another edition of Banks Behaving Badly.
And in that regard, Sinclair, we have a couple of interesting stories here. Bank of America came out with a very interesting story. Actually came out, I believe, on Thursday, and they said they were tapping the brakes on risk and spurring some banker departures in the process. So why do you think Bank of America is starting to get a little concerned about risk-taking?
Well, Bank of America is actually starting to act like a banker, of all things. Go figure. This is an interesting story. First of all, we have to go back to last year, and it starts with a firm that not many people are familiar with, a South African retailer called Steinhoff International. It's really a global conglomerate The stock is traded in Germany. And in the United States, many people are probably familiar with Mattress Firm. That's one of their big stores here in the U.S. Well, last year, there was an accounting scandal. There was a loan to Steinhoff that basically went belly up. And the auditors and accountants are still going in trying to figure out exactly what happened. But apparently, Steinhoff was moving revenue from one country to another, from one subsidiary to another, to make it look like they had much more revenue than they in fact had. And when the accounting scandal was uncovered, it was a pretty significant scandal, in part because Wall Street banks had lent a bundle of money to the CEO and to the company. And in the fourth quarter of 2017, Wall Street banks took over $1 billion in losses against their fourth quarter earnings. And it wasn't just Bank of America, although they were leading the list at right at $300 million in losses. But it was also J.P. Morgan, Chase, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs. In other words, the usual suspects.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you lose $300 million in one quarter. That seems to get people's attention. So the board of directors of Bank of America hired a legal firm to try and figure out what in the world went wrong. How did Bank of America become embroiled in Steinhoff's accounting scandal for this much money? I mean, this is not the main thing that Bank of America does, lending money to the CEO of a South African firm.
Sinclair?
It's a great story, and we'll get into detail with it in just a moment.
Right. Running to the break here. So Sinclair No from Camping in 1510 Phoenix, north of the blog EatTheBankers.com will join us after the break, and we'll pick up on Bank of America. Don't touch your dial.
You are listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. At wallstreetraw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at wallstreetraw.com. That's wallstreetraw.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free Reputation reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, June 9th. My very special guest, Sinclair No, is online, and we were talking about how Bank of America is tapping their brakes on risk, and Sinclair, some of their key executives left. Why do you think they would do that?
Well, because there are some bankers that just love risk. I mean, that's where the money is made, in risk. But it's also where money is lost. Now, let me just back up just a bit on this Steinhoff deal that went bad, and it resulted in a $300 million loss back in the fourth quarter. The Steinhoff CEO, former CEO, disappeared. The stock dropped 98%. They're trying to restructure somewhere in the neighborhood of $12 billion worth of debt. The auditors are still working through it and probably aren't going to have a final report on what happened until the end of the year. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for the movie series because there's bound to be one. This story of a South African retailer who makes it big, jet-setting lifestyles, fast women, slow horses, industrial-scale skullduggery. A CEO who apparently is just a conscience-free sociopath. This thing's going to be a wild story. Meanwhile, B of A, Bank of America, is looking at this and going, that maybe isn't what our main line of business should be.
Okay.
But, of course, that's some big margin lending that they look at. The reason they do it is because they can make big fees, they can make big margins. That can mean big bonuses bonuses for the investment bankers that are involved in this. But the board of directors and the CEO, Moynihan, they're looking at this going, we can't be doing that. And to their credit, I would say. And so they have been scaling back fairly substantially. They've cut back some 27%, and they're losing market share as a result. JP Morgan has passed them in advisory revenue. They say that they can make money in investment banking. They say they've got plenty of business still waiting for them. But Moynihan, the CEO, Brian Moynihan of Bank of America, says, we need to have responsible growth. And frankly, I think Moynihan is looking at the breakdown from 2008, the crisis, and saying, we can't do that again. We cannot repeat the same mistakes that were made back then at that time. Now, the attorneys looked into it and said, Bank of America is not at fault. It was fraud by another party. But then you get back to the idea of, do the bankers really know their clients? And that's a fairly good question. We're talking a lot of money, though, when it comes to the leverage loans and advisory services and so forth. And, Bank of America is giving up some of their profit to do this, but it's probably a wise move on their part. What it means, though, for lending in some of the emerging markets, such as Africa, Brazil, the Middle East, places like that, that could have a more significant impact. We'll see how that goes moving forward. But for now, at least, Bank of America starting to act like a banker, nice conservative banker, not playing stupid games with their depositors' money. So, go figure.
And we don't know any other banks that would have done that kind of thing, Sinclair, so we're happy to hear about it.
Well, we certainly haven't heard it from the other players, J.P. Morgan Chase, Citi, and Goldman.
That leads me into the next story.
I will say one more thing. One more thing. We talked about how some of these investment bankers are leaving Bank of America, and when they leave, believe me, they've got other jobs on Wall Street waiting for them.
Well, maybe they're over at J.P. Morgan. There's a story this morning that Jamie Dimon and Warren Buffett have been urging CEOs to end quarterly earnings reports. They're doubling down on their plea for corporations to stop providing these reports. Why do you think this is the case, Sinclair?
Well, Warren Buffett has been singing this song for quite some time over at Berkshire Hathaway. Jamie Dimon apparently is getting on board with it. Need to move away from quarterly reports and focus more on long-term investments. And I get it. Quarterly earnings guidance, it can be a bit unhealthy. You're trying to come up with short-term profits and maybe at the expense of long-term growth and sustainability. Make the numbers for the quarter, a year, 2 years, 5 years from now. Well, we'll deal with it when we get there. Meanwhile, there's this whole game that goes on with Wall Street analysts where they try and set estimates at a certain level. The company's trying to beat it. That results in executive bonuses. That seems to be what all this is about. It may serve as an incentive to fudge the numbers just a bit. At the same time, we do need regular transparency from companies about what they are actually earning. And if you're investing, you certainly want to have some clue as to what they might earn in the future, in the next quarter, in the next half year or year. So it's kind of difficult. Do we cut back on the transparency, or do we just cut back on this whole earnings charade that goes on between the CEOs and the CFOs and the analysts that are covering the companies? There's probably a little bit of give and take on both sides of this, but we hear this about earnings all the time. The analysts come out with a number. the CEOs say, no, ratchet that down a little bit, and then they beat the ratcheted lower number. The stock takes a pop. The CEOs are congratulated for beating the number, but then there are whisper numbers about it.
The traders love it. The traders love it. That's the unfortunate part.
I don't know what traders are going to do if we get rid of quarterly earnings reports.
Right, it'll drive them crazy. Well, we're about a minute or so left, Sinclair. We have the FOMC meeting next week, and the unanimous viewpoint is the rates are going up. I think you share that view.
Yeah, absolutely. Rates are going up. That was confirmed after the jobs report number that came out at the beginning of the month, which showed very strong jobs, the unemployment rate down to 3.8%. We're seeing just hints of inflation, even though we're just really right at the Fed's target for inflation. It's not as if I think the Fed has to be worried about that, but they're going to go ahead. They've already telegraphed this to the markets. To do anything different would be a shock to the markets. So we will see another rate increase, and then we will probably see yet another one in September. Question is whether we have a fourth one to wrap up the end of the year.
Well, many believe that we might see an upward acceleration more next year and the year following, particularly with the pension crisis here and one that's already clear in Europe. So we'll see what happens there. Sinclair, we have about 60 seconds. I didn't touch on the Wells Fargo story, which we should have done a few moments ago. They're selling a bunch of their branches in Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, so they are trimming back their operations, which is not too surprising considering what happened to the company.
Yeah, and of course, Wells Fargo is under the control or regulation of the Federal Reserve, as all banks are, but they're under special controls that says that they cannot grow their assets. And at first I thought, well, what they're doing is they're scaling back some of their branches in these states in order to not grow their overall asset base. The bank says that's not what they're doing, which tells me that they're kind of floundering in some states. And a localized company, Flagstar, is just kind of stepping in and picking up the leftovers.
Sinclair, thank you for joining us. Good friend Sinclair No, KFNN 1510 Phoenix. And as we do each week, we close our show what Ed Hart used to say many years ago, we will know in the fullness of time.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Alpha, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest price filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Get the ultimate knife at an ultimate price. The Fox Karambit knife. Finally available in the U.S., the Fox Karambit knife opens with one hand, faster than you can pull a handgun. For utility, for defense, and for way less than other knives of this caliber. Go to theultimateknife.com. Truly the best knife you will ever own, and only available at theultimateknife.com. Use promo code radio at checkout for free shipping. Get the ultimate knife at the ultimate price at theultimateknife.com.